Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor. Today we're going to be breaking down Exodite, Episode 1, Flame. It's the new series from Warhammer TV. Please go ahead and consider jumping on over there and subscribing. It's only $5.99 a month, and it's actually starting to turn into the paid subscription service that we're looking for. There's plenty of lore episodes, there's plenty of painting tutorials, and Angels of Death is now complete as a series. We will go back and shoot Episode 3. It's just not a priority right now. And then also they have the Hammer and Bolter animated series, which does have at least 3 good episodes in it. And so it's starting to shape up. So that's what I would say. My name is Connor. I'm a law enforcement and Marine Corps veteran and a science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd. So I like breaking down Warhammer plus TV series. So if you're along for the ride, we're going to be stopping intermittently in order to break down different aspects of the lore or what we're seeing on screen. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Please consider subscribing to Warhammer Plus, and we'll take it from there. Let's go.
The lessons of the past are forever lost to the present. Even those learned in the wake of tragedy are easily forgotten. The arrogance of upstart empires and their naive ambition have ever bound us to a cycle of war and loss. If only they would learn from our mistakes. It took the near destruction of our race for us to learn the foremost of truths. The tragedy of existence is that the only path to understanding is to suffer. This is, as it has always been, a galaxy of the ignorant and the deluded, of lost children, comforted only by the illusions they create for themselves.
And, smug Eldar being smug. Good God. Maybe this is why your civilization has collapsed, you sack of shit. Oh man, there's already so much by the illusions they create. There's already so much good stuff here. So obviously the animation quality is awesome. It's actually really impressive that Games Workshop, based off of a few frames, recruited this studio. I forget if it's like Siege, but they have like a Spartan helmet and like a skull and like all this kind of stuff. But they released maybe like a 30 to 45 second long animated trailer showing an Astartes with a chain axe, who was lost by himself, being attacked by like super fast Eldar, and it was all very jumpy. And then it also showed a Titan being annihilated by a giant like railgun beam or a beam. And the fact that they were able to see the promise and the quality of the animation just in those few frames is actually, I think, incredibly impressive, because I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm sure these frames are complex, but at the same time, it's like maybe 20 seconds or 40 seconds worth of film. I don't even get to see what's going on, and it could be hidden behind a lot of basically like jump cuts and just basically like fast animation techniques. So I didn't recognize the quality at all. But to set the stage, we have the Tau, who cannot warp jump. Okay, and the few times that they have gone into the warp have been disastrous, and basically the human. Because there's Guela, there's human parts of the Tau Empire, and there's also aliens like the Kroot who are recruited into the greater good, which is a more pacifistic, syncretic way of ruling the galaxy. All of those were possessed by chaos near instantaneously because they didn't have a Geller field, and they basically turned into demons and monsters, and they had to be killed and culled. Tau apparently have very dim souls that are not really worth possessing, or they're not even noticeable by the demonic entities of the warp. And so as a result, what happened, the Tau were able to segregate themselves and survive, and then apparently a Tau god, the manifestation of the greater good, which is the overarching theme or the overarching goal of the Tau, is a syncretic imperial alliance of all races willing to bow to the greater good. So they will accept humans. They will accept Kroot. They probably would even accept Eldar or Orcs if they were capable of submitting themselves to the greater good. But so far, I don't think there's any lore around Eldar or Orcs submitting themselves to the greater good. And then, of course, like Chaos are antithetical to the greater good. So, this Eldar's being all smug. We see some fire warriors and some stealth suits gets jacked up. Oh, learn from our mistakes. The tragedy of existence is that understanding only comes from suffering, and that the galaxy is filled with the ignorant, lost children who are only comforted by the illusions they create. Listen, I'm an Imperium stan. I'm not as versed on the Tau lore, so I'm gonna be talking a little bit of smack back and forth. You know what? Shut up, Eldar. This is what you get. You destroyed the universe by basically having blood murder orgies for tens of thousands of years, and you're gonna turn around and bitch about how the Imperium of Man and the Tau handle themselves? Go fudge yourself, is what I would have to say to this smug Eldar bastard. And so, a maiden world. They were talking about a few terms that I don't totally understand, but I can infer. So there's a colony. Tau are colonists. They do seek to be expansionists, but since they don't have warp travel, they're segmented to a pocket. But they are technologically dangerous. So the Imperium of Man, while sometimes ignoring the Tau because of how limited they are in scope, they are a technological threat that is on par with the Imperium of Man and even surpasses the Imperium of Man in some respects for technology. And then, on top of that, they do colonize their sphere of influence and try to get human and other alien worlds to bow to the greater good. And there have been entire human planets that have bent the knee to the greater good in the Tau Empire. Finally, a maiden world is a planet that was either discovered or terraformed by the Eldar to be a new home for the Eldar. So it's quite clear that the Eldar were already here, already terraformed it. The Tau came here to set up a colony. They're trying to evacuate their colonists because they've run afoul of the Eldar and the Imperium of Man. And then the Imperium of Man is now attacking everybody because that's what they do. They're a xenocidal imperial faction that is capable of long-distance travel. So if they bump into some Tau or bump into some Eldar, there can be some rapprochement when there's an outside force that might threaten their existence. But if there's Tau or Eldar in front of them, the Imperium of Man's going to try to kill them. So with all of that being said, let's press on into the animation. Boom.
All that you do is for the greater good. I give to you this lesson, Lacoma. Fire does not always render earth to ash. In the heat of its passing, new pathways can be opened. You must burn as a fire stoked by purpose. Where once you followed, you will lead. You are now Shastre, a torch held in the hand of the greater good. The flame of which shall purify and renew all that seems lost. Progress is forged in such ways.
I understand, Honored One.
Go now and be the fire for the greater good.
Support systems integration complete. Status gold. In furtherance of the greater good, maintain your strength and that of your battlesuit Shastre.
Shastre Lacoma.
Commander Stonedance.
Our enemy continue their wanton destruction on the planet. The Aldari survivor has disrupted all attempts at diplomacy between us and the Goela,
He continues to kill their commanders.
as well as our emissaries. And still the Goela believe we are responsible. Now the Earthcast have detected pulses of energy from multiple locations on the surface.
The Eldari again.
They theorize it is attempting to activate a defensive network. It must.
All right, so we still got plenty to do, and I do have to intermittently interrupt in order to break this down for you. I do apologize. I'm sure that you do want to watch it. If you do want to watch it in full, go to Warhammer TV, go to Warhammer Plus, pay $5.99 in order to support this and other animations that are coming out. I do understand that Games Workshop has been frustrating about intellectual property. I do understand that they've been frustrating about third-party bits and 3D printing and all that kind of stuff. I do understand all of the criticisms and frustrations with Games Workshop, and not only do I hear them, I actually understand them and share some of those frustrations. That being said, they have created an incredible universe with an incredible lore, with incredible races, with a tabletop game, 3D animations, TV series in the future, excellent books, and a lot of talent is under the Games Workshop label. So despite some of their more silly tabletop and intellectual property mistakes, I do encourage you to go pay so you can watch the full thing. That being said, if you're annoyed, go pay. Okay? If you're not annoyed, stay here, and I'm going to do some more lore breakdown for you. So, the Ethereals. The Ethereals, up until a certain point in Tau history, Tau are actually supposed to be, like, very young. Like, I think they're supposed to be, like, less than 10,000 years, 10,000 years old, and they were recognized by the Imperium of Man as a borderline Stone Age race that was on not even worthy of a genocidal campaign because they were basically cavemen, fish, horse people. And what I mean by that is that they had very limited technology. They have hooves, so they're kind of like horses. But then they also have like blue skin and appear to be fish-like in some senses. So that's what I mean by hooved fish people. The Ethereals came into the Tau Empire. It wasn't even the Empire at the time. Came to the Tau race, and they were more evolved Tau that have a soothing and propagandistic effect on all they encounter, including humans, apparently. Very mild psychological effects on humans, but it's still real. And so what the Ethereals did, allegedly, through Tau propaganda, is stated that only they could organize the Tau race into the greater good, and into this broader imperial philosophy to bring all races into harmony. And as a result, the Tau did coalesce into a caste system, including the earth caste, the fire caste, the water caste, the air caste, and the ethereals. And the ethereals were part of the leadership caste. The water caste, I believe, is the diplomatic caste. Earth caste are the builders and the workmen. Fire caste are the warriors. Air caste are, I believe, the flyers. And then, like pilots and all that kind of stuff. And, if I'm forgetting one, then I'm sorry to whoever that caste is, but obviously they aren't important enough to mention. I'm just kidding. I'm just being racist against Tau. But the point is that the ethereals are the uniting political force inside the Tau Empire, although there are people who try to break away from their will, known as the Far Side Enclaves. So, the ethereal, or I believe what appears to be an ethereal based off of my understanding of Tau society, says fire does not always render the earth to ash. New paths can emerge from the heat. You will be a torch held in the hand of the greater good, and you are no longer just a warrior. You will be a leader. So she is being promoted. This Tau female that we're following is being promoted to a sergeant and being given a stealth suit. Awesome, very cool. And the artwork, the 3D animation, the quality, the voice acting, the sound, the music, all of it is incredible. And progress is forged in such ways, I understand Honored One. And then we get to see the stealth suit being opened and the drones kind of like supervising this chassefre or whatever, the sergeant of the Tau Empire, go into her suit and start doing the systems checks, including showing the invisibility, which is very cool. And Tau do have very high technology. They have railguns, they have ion cannons, they have ion blasters, they have pulse rifles, they have pulse carbines. They have fire warriors, which are, the Pathfinder team, and the Breacher teams, which are their line infantry. They have stealth suits. And then if you saw Gundam-like battle suits in the background, they have crisis battle suits. And in order to compete with the Imperium of Man, who have Imperial Guard, classic artillery, insane amounts of maybe slightly technologically less sophisticated than Tau technology, but they have shitloads of it, and it's incredibly powerful. What the Tau did in order to compete with the Imperium of Man and the Eldari and the Necrons and the why did I forget them? The Tyranids. They developed increasing levels of technology with battle suits. So you see the Crisis battle suits. I'm sure we'll see a Riptide at some point. I'm sure we'll see, a Broadside at some point. I'm sure we'll see any variant of these suits. Oh my God! Please, can I see the stealth one? I forget what the stealth one is called. But it's actually the most attractive battle suit that they have. It'll come to me in a minute. But the point is that they compensate for their slightly smaller stature with increased technology and coordinated firepower with very very complex renderings of technology. And I do love the Titanfall aesthetic. This was this was basically obviously I'm Imperial. I love Imperial powers. But I do want to get different armies, so if everybody else is Imperial, I can give them something to shoot at. So I'm thinking about doing a Gwella-only Farside Enclave with my headcanon being human beings were conquered by the Tau Empire. They didn't want to be subservient to a bunch of fish people, so they stole their technology and then broke away from the Tau Empire. And now they're like the Farside Enclaves, meaning that they have to defend themselves from the Imperium of Man and from other Tau and from every other race, because basically they're always on the verge of annihilation. If I'm going to play Tau, I'm going to play as Gwella independent Tau, okay? But there's a bunch of drones, service drones, stealth drones, weapon drones. They do have the technology to use artificial intelligence. They do have the ability to develop all these computerized systems that help them advance and propagate their technology. And then basically in the brief, the Eldari survivor is being mentioned as assassinating Gwella and assassinating Tau diplomats in order to maintain the conflict. And this is something that the Eldar are famous for, is manipulating all sides to their ends. So, if this Eldar leader of the Maiden World is trying to buy himself time in order to activate a defensive network that will help him repel the Imperium of Man and repel the Tau, or he's trying to use one against the other, or, well, Eldar are sneaky bastards, I'll tell you that. So the point is that this is perfectly in line with Eldar to use the Tau as a bludgeon against the Imperium of Man and use the Imperium of Man as a bludgeon against the Tau in order to buy themselves time for whatever ends that they want. So, so far, the plot, the camera work, the animation, it's all excellent, 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 top tier stuff. Absolutely love it. So let's keep it moving.
It must be stopped. There is not much time left.
As the Ounds will it, by our dedication it shall be done.
Good hunting, Chasfrey.
Systems activated.
Flight path confirmed.
Launch protocols initiated. Hunt well, Stealth Team.
Durham,
A moment, Chasfrey.
the hunt does not wait for the warrior to sharpen his weapons.
One rota, this Earthcast tech will work.
It's working now.
Synchronized. Synchronized.
I almost had it. If I had a moment longer...
The hunt would be over.
Oh, we both know you'd never complete a successful hunt without me.
So we let you believe.
Atmospheric entry imminent.
Focus now. We will deploy to the site of the last energy pulse. We will apprehend the Aldari survivor. Once captured, we will persuade it of the rightness of our intent, and the Gwella will be forced to accept we fight a needless war. All will be brought to the greater good.
For greater good.
To me.
On your word. Chasfrey.
Deploy.
And so they come. Still blind to the fate that awaits them.
Enemy sensor range approaching.
Activate stealth fields.
Their eyes shall be opened. All hint of illusion removed. They shall learn that once begun, there is only war.
Yes. Let's just make sure there's no hidden things. Yeah, so this studio, Lost Legion Studios, that's who it was. So let's go back, go over for a few things, and then we'll wrap it up. And then I'll probably go shoot another episode just in case this gets copyright struck. We'll obviously challenge it. But so we get to see the power of las cannons, the power of the torpedoes, power of the missiles from the Imperial Navy. The Tau railguns are capable of smashing the smaller Imperial ships. I basically tried to look up, if it looked like I was looking away for a second, it's because I've seen this before, and I was trying to look up the name of the Tau transport vehicle. But basically the Tau transport flyer, but obviously it's huge, and they actually do make it by Forge World. And so I can find like pictures of it, but I'm trying to like click on them and they're taking forever. So there's like the Manta. So it was the Manta heavy drop ship. Okay, super cool. Yeah, and then there's Orca drop ships. There's the Devilfish troop transports. There's all sorts of stuff, but they were in Mantas. And so I think that's why some people have pointed out that the Tau are technically equestrian because they have hooves. But also I think the reason why they get called fish people is because a lot of their iconography and a lot of their a lot of their words and a lot of their units are emblematic of like sea creatures and stuff. So I think that's where the fish people stuff came from. So the hunt does not wait on the hunter to sharpen his weapons. The Earthcast tech will work. One of the female Tau warriors in the stealth team basically chides him, releases the safety, and then the weapons drones go into place and synchronize with the stealth unit. And apparently, I'm a newbie to Tau lore. So you're going to have to excuse as I butcher different parts of their lore, but, I'm Imperial. You're going to have to forgive me. So apparently the Tau actually do encourage bonding amongst their warriors where they can commit to each other as battle brothers and sisters in order to encourage that bond for the greater good, so they can fight better for themselves, but also fight better for the people that they're paired with within their fire team. And they do try to build that intimacy while they go into war, versus like the Imperial Guard where you're just a number and you get thrown in the meat grinder. Obviously, there's different Imperial Guard regiments, but I don't think anybody in the Imperial Guard would encourage the kind of intimacy that apparently the Tau do. So we will capture the Eldari and persuaded of the correctness of our intent. And this is to show that, like, however technologically sophisticated and interesting the Tau are, they are a naive race compared to the rest of the galaxy. The Tyranids are an monstrous enemy that will devour their opponents. The Orcs are monstrous enemies that kill for fun. The Eldari are always manipulative and killing others and manipulating others to their whim. And the Imperium of Man doesn't care how good or how persuasive the Tau are. They will commit a xenocidal war against the Tau. And the only thing preventing them from doing so is, one, having larger threats in the galaxy, and two, the Tau's technological ability to resist. So, this naivete actually points out another thing. There are the Farsight enclaves. Commander Farsight was a general in the Tau Imperial Army. I think he encountered chaos and learned that the Ethereals were lying to the Tau Empire about a lot of things and seemed to be manipulating the masses into a lulled complacency. And as a result of his disgust with the ethereal's manipulations, he broke off and created a Tau Empire without ethereals. It's much smaller than the Tau Empire itself, but he does have a breakaway nation called the Farside Enclaves of less naive Tau. The knives on the Tau is interesting. I do hope that they come into play. Maybe some melee between Imperial Guard and Tau stealth warriors would be pretty sweet. And then the Eldar still being a smug douche, saying they're blind to the fate that awaits them. Eldar, particularly psychically sensitive Eldar, they can see the strands of fate. They can see the future. They can see different consequences and probabilities interacting with each other. And so even if there's multiple fates that are awaiting the Tau on this planet, even if there's multiple fates awaiting the Imperium on this planet, the Eldari will always be trying to play the strings of fate to their advantage. So they activate their stealth fields, their eyes shall be opened, the Eldari Rangers in front of a bunch of corpses and the burning, the fire and smoke of war. And, once war is begun, once begun, there is only war. He's just being smug, as Eldar do. So it is what it is. But I had a blast. I am super looking forward to tomorrow, where the next episode will be released. We'll be reviewing and breaking it down next week as well. So looking forward to that. I'm going to go break down another Warhammer 40k episode. That way, if this one gets IP hit, then you'll still have something to watch. I do appreciate you checking us out. Please subscribe. Please ring the bell. As I mentioned before, my name is Connor. I run this excellent YouTube channel named Counterpoints. I'm a science fiction political philosophy nerd, and I'm a Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran. I've done breakdowns of the excellent war film Fury, the excellent war film Full Metal Jacket, the excellent law enforcement film End of Watch, and I recommend you go ahead and check all of that out if you're into violence and psychological, technical, and tactical breakdowns. If you're into politics or drama or arguing about politics and drama, I am deeply embedded into the Twitch and Twitter politics spheres, where a bunch of nerds argue with each other as if the fate of the universe was reliant on our opinions. It gets quite passionate, it gets quite heated, and it's stressful, but it's a lot of fun. So if you want to check out debates, I've done plenty of debates, I've done plenty of panels, I've done lots of talking. So check out the politics playlist if any of that sounds interesting. And then if you want to improve yourself, if you're a young person who feels like your life is out of control and that you want to learn from the experience of others in order to try to deal with anxiety or depression or physical pain, then I invite you to check out the Foundations playlist that's also on our channel. That's pretty much it. I sincerely appreciate you dropping by, and I'm going to go shoot another episode, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.